What's up, Doc? I'm hunting carrots. So we're starting off by roasting some carrots. I'm just cutting them into kind of larger chunks. When I roast these, I kind of like the centers to be a little bit underdone so that when they roast, you get like the nice caramelized mushy outside and some like underdone inside. So when we blend it, there'll be like little bits of carrot all throughout, 2 different flavors, really lovely and really pretty. Keep forgetting to salt before tossing. Now I've got to wash my hands twice. Don't be shy. All right, now that our pieces are all nice and evenly cooked, we're gonna pop these in the oven at 400 for about 45 minutes to an hour until almost completely fork tender. If you're making this for kids and you don't want them to see any specks of carrot, by all means, cut them into smaller pieces, roast them till they're completely fork tender in the center. That way, when you puree them, there will be no evidence of carrot. So while the carrots are roasting, we are going to shred some cheese. We've got Gruyere and some Parmesan. I've already portioned out our goat cheese. Just grating this on the coarsest side of this box grater, mostly because it's easiest. You could also grate cheese in a food processor or blender if you don't feel like putting a little muscle into it. So we need 14 ounces of the Gruyere. I get my Gruyere from Costco. It is, I think, $12 for a pound, which is insane compared to what you spend at the regular grocery store. And for the Parmesan, I am just a complete psychopath and I love to use a microplane. I like have to use the microplane because it just makes it look like snow. It's beautiful, I love it. So yeah, I mean, it's so satisfying. It's worth noting that a smaller chunk is easier to grate than a large one like this. Oh my God. Didn't break the skin, but that was a close call. All right, so we need 4 ounces of the parm. So let's see where we're at. All right, so that was about half of what we need. See if the rest of this block does it. Oh, yep, got the skin that time. Did I say 4 ounces? We're going with 3. We can always add more parm when we're putting the whole thing together, but for now, I'm done. All right, the carrots are almost done roasting and I want to make a fun mocktail. So we are gonna add to a blender a whole orange. I recommend buying organic since we're adding the whole thing in, and I also wash mine. Wash the organic orange. Next, we've got carrot juice.
What's up, Doc?
We're gonna add a cup and a half. This is gonna make 2 mocktails. And we're gonna add some fun little spices too. So we got some black pepper, some turmeric, which we are also putting into the mac and cheese. And one of my absolute favorite spices, cardamom. I'm obsessed, and it goes so well with orange and carrot. Delicious. Also gonna add just a wee little bit of salt. We don't need any more sugar here because we've got plenty of sugar in the carrot juice and the orange. And let her rip. Oh, it smells so good. If you wanted to add more sweetness, you could add some agave or honey. So just pouring all of this through a fine mesh sieve to get out all of that white, pithy, bitter part of the orange. Plus it's a little bit more pleasant to drink. I do love the zest though, so I like to add more orange zest back in. So when we go to serve this, we will just pour over some fresh ice, garnish with, I don't know, carrot sticks and parsley for funsies. Super high in vitamin A and vitamin C, and just like really tasty. All right, so I've added my roasted carrots along with about a half a cup of evaporated milk to a blender. You can obviously use the same blender. I just did not feel like washing it right away. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. I've got a nice, thick carrot puree. We are adding all of this yumminess to our mac and cheese, which we are going to get started on now. All right, it is time to make the mac, and it's super simple. 1 pound of pasta. I think cavatappi is super cute for this. It's like the ridged, swirly spiral situation. And we're gonna pour some water in the pan. Just enough to cover the top of all the noodles. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Add a good pinch of salt. I got salt in my wound. Is that gonna stop me from using the microplane? Absolutely not. I'm a psychopath, I told ya. So we are gonna bring this up to a boil. Once it boils, we're gonna be stirring it pretty frequently so that it doesn't stick together. And once almost all of the water has been evaporated, we're gonna add some more evaporated milk and our cheeses and some spices, and that's it. Super simple, one pot scenario, other than having to roast the carrots ahead of time. But they're so good, so good. All right, so now that almost all of our water is evaporated, our pasta is almost done cooking, we are gonna add the evaporated milk. It's got about the same amount of fat as half and half, but since it's concentrated milk, it's got much more protein. And because of that higher protein concentration, we're able to bring this to a boil, something we could never do with milk because milk would separate. This won't because of the protein. So while this is coming to a boil, I am gonna add my spices. I'm not gonna really measure the cayenne, just like measure with your heart. I'm gonna add a little bit more turmeric for some added health benefits and color. And we've got some whole nutmeg. I had a nickel for every time I dropped my nutmeg in my pasta. I would be rich. All right, so that's been brought to a boil. I'm gonna turn the heat off now. Turning the heat off because we are about to add our cheese, and the cheese will separate if it's at too high a heat. All right, so in goes all of our cheese. Our Parmigiano and our goat cheese. All right, just turning it back on the low now that a lot of our cheese is melted in. Now we're gonna add our carrot puree. Just stir it in, and this is gonna give it the most beautiful orange color. Oh, look at how beautiful it is. Very important. You have to taste. So good. Add a little bit more salt, more cayenne, some pepper. Just luxurious. And I am gonna add that last ounce of cheese in spite of my injury. Oh, it looks so good. Wow. Oh. I mean, goodness gracious. Great balls of carrot. Let's do this. Zippy and bright. Could I find a bigger straw? Just don't know which is the more appropriate utensil for this. We got Lindsay's mac and cheese spoon or the Forking Love You fork. One of those noodles that might be better with a fork. We're gonna start with the spoon just to see. How flippin' beautiful does this look though? Tell me. So creamy, so cheesy. You would never know that there's a pound of roasted carrots inside. All right guys, bon appetito. So good. I love a little sweetness in my mac and cheese. I just think it balances it out really, really nicely. You really cannot taste carrot. Again, it just kind of lends that little bit of sweetness. Gruyere is another one of my favorite ingredient hacks. It's got so much more protein than cheddar for around the same amount of calories, and it tastes amazing. It has the sharpness, it has the bite, but it also has a nuttiness, kind of like Parmesan. She would. What I love about this too is that it doesn't feel super heavy. Like it's pretty light, yet it still feels like an authentic mac and cheese experience with added vitamins and minerals. And by the way, mac and cheese by itself has tons of micronutrients. I have this recipe listed on my website with all of the micronutrient heroes, basically anything 20% of your daily value or over based on a 2,000 calorie a day diet, along with the calories, macros, like fiber and protein. And you will be very impressed with all the numbers. Something you can feel good about. Feeding your kiddos, a little sneaky veggie action. Should rename this video Bugs Bunny's Last Meal. Picture me with the little ears. Hip hoppin'. Another fun fact, goat cheese, very similar to cream cheese. They're both creamy, like the same consistency. They both have tang. Goat cheese, way more protein. Don't get me wrong, I love cream cheese on a bagel especially. It's like half cream cheese, half bagel. But for something that you're just not going to taste it in, I also love goat cheese though, by the by. Why not? Choo choo. Choo choo. Tucka 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 tucka. I feel like it's meant to be an airplane, isn't it? It is a beautiful day. Wow. Some ginger would be incredible in here. Some gin. I may have added gin to it on another occasion. But this is so good all on its own. You really feel like you're getting something out of it. All right, guys. I've got one more bite of me. This is obviously not all for me. This is for my entire family, and we are going to eat the rest of it for dinner tonight. And if we don't finish it tonight, we love leftovers in this house, so we will definitely be putting it in the fridge and munching on it over the course of the next few days. So delicious, so perfect for Easter, perfect for spring. And you know, even without the carrots, guys, mac and cheese has so many benefits, so many. Justice for cheese, and justice for pasta, justice for fat. I should start a protest. Wouldn't that be something? Where would I stand out in front of? Rob Lowe's apartment, him and his flippin' Atkins nonsense. Justice for carbs. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining today. Again, the recipe is on my website. The link is in the description of the video, so you guys can make this yourselves at home. It is super easy. It's super delicious. I hope you will make it, and I hope you will let me know how you liked it. Once you do, feel free to leave a review for it on my site as well. And that's it for me today, guys. I appreciate you. I love you. I've missed you so much, by the way. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna make it extra, extra, because it's been so long.